checking out another new chunk. Nice piece of public land down southern tier New York. Spot I've hunted for a couple years, but normally I'm on the other end of this area, coming in from a different road. So I'm gonna check out this side of it, see if I can't find anything different, anything better. Maybe make some moves for next coming season. Already seen some oaks, a lot of rubs, a couple scrapes going in this logging road. I'm just coming back off the road, so sign I'm not really too worried about right now. It's close to the road. I'm sure a lot of this is made after dark. So I'm gonna get back in here, see if I can't find some transition lines, a little bit of buck sign, make some marks on onyx, make a game plan for next year. All right, let's go. First little note here, clear cuts. They can be your friend. They can be a pain to walk through, but that's food for the deer. A lot of people overlook it. This one that I'm walking through right now, it's a little bit older, so there's not a lot of food in here. But if you can find clear cuts in the last 5 years, like I said, they are a pain to walk through, but all that is food for the deer. If you can get right on the edge of that, those transition lines, a good place to be. Right here, I got a nice rub for you. Check this out. A little distraction there, but it's a good one. Anyway, clear cuts. Go find them. Food there, there's deer there. Hunt the edges of them if you can't get into them. Like I said, the one I'm in right now, a couple years old, probably isn't one I would hunt. Or I'd imagine they'd be feeding too much in, but we'll see if we can find a little bit newer one. Here's a newer clear cut, probably only a few years old. These are the ones I really like to look for and really like to hunt the edges of. Provides food and cover all year long. I kind of like to consider it like the standing cornfield within big timber. You know, like I said, it's going to provide food and cover, but you're not going to go hunt in the middle of a cornfield. You're going to hunt the edges. You know, I treat these the same. If I go and try to hunt the middle of it, I'm just going to be blowing the deer out, trying to get myself untangled, walking in and out. And if I do just happen to find a tree in there that I can sit in, I'm probably going to stand out like a sore thumb. Alright, got some sign here. Leaves are all tore up everywhere. Might be a no-brainer for a lot of people, but you want to check that out real good. If there's an overhanging branch, you know, there's probably going to be a couple leaves and some sticks in there if it's scraped from this past fall. We got to watch out for those turkeys too. So if there's an area that's all tore up, there's not an overhanging branch, there's just leaves tore up everywhere, probably turkeys. It's probably not deer, so just make sure you watch for that. Alright, one thing I like to do when I find these buck beds is kneel right down, get eye level, look at exactly what they're looking at, try to get into their mind, figure out why they're bedding, where they're bedding, think about the wind, think about how you're coming in, how you're leaving, where your stands are. Maybe they're set up in an area where they can smell and see where you've been coming in the last couple of years. And once you figure out why he's bedded there, then you can make a game plan on how to hunt that buck. So right here, I'll move the camera down so you can get right eye level with him. But he's bedded a third of the way down the hill. He's got the wind blowing up over the hill, so he can smell everything on the other side of this hill. He's got the overwatch looking all the way down the hill, but he's got some cover. He's in some pines. So he's got the cover, concealment, looking down the hill, looking up both sides of the hill. This buck would be hard. There's no way you could sneak up on him. So he'd be hard to kill. But you know, that's why they get old, and those are the ones you're after. So you got to figure it out. Hopefully he makes a mistake, you can get on him. Here we're right in this buck's bed. See a nice rub right here in the pines. But that's looking down the hill. It's got the concealment with these pines. You can see and hear everything coming down the bottom of that hill. You can see both directions along the hillside. And then he's concealed or completely covered by anything that's on that side of the hill. Those bucks aren't going to bed on top of the hill where they're silhouetted. They're going to go just over the crest, bed below it, so then nothing can see their silhouette, and they're going to be able to smell anything that's coming from that side. The wind blowing up over the hill, they'll smell everything over there. So a lot of times you can't really tell how big the bucks are in their beds. So if you don't have a nice big rub like this to look at, there's no rubs around, you find a bed, maybe it's got a couple little rubs around it, but if it's in a spot like this where you can't figure out how to kill it or how to sneak up on it, it is probably not a 1.5-year-old deer, probably not a 2.5-year-old deer. They'll compete for these perfect bedding spots. A mature buck will kick a younger buck out of this area. Found a couple more beds here. I'm about 200 yards from where I was before. This hill kind of comes to a point. I'm directly across on the other side of the hill. So, another thing to think about. It could be that same buck. Those bucks are going to bed in an area. Not the same bed, not the same spot every time. More than likely, probably the same buck bedding on the same tip of a hill. When the wind's blowing one way, he's bedding on one side. When it's blowing the other way, he's bedding on the other side. The spot is not as thick. I don't see any rubs right here in the immediate area. And it's almost wide open. It's got hair in it. Nice bed there. Bed here. Maybe another one on that tree there. But anyway, same thing. We drop right down, get eye level with him. He's got his cover right here. Wind blowing up over the hill. Back cover. Can see both sides down each side of the hill. And he's looking right down. Look at this view he's got. These bucks aren't going to bed in the same spot every time. Depending on the wind, they're going to move. They're going to shift areas. So you got a bedding area. The wind's blowing the opposite way, coming from the other side of the hill. It's probably the same buck. He's just on this side. So you got to think about that too. So when you're leaving your truck, which way is the wind blowing? When you wake up in the morning, which way is the wind blowing? Where's that buck going to be bedded for that afternoon sit? In the morning, where's he going to be going back to? Is he going to be coming back here? Is he going to be coming back to the other side of the hill? Think about your thermals. In the morning, those thermals are going to be coming up. So he might be coming up here a little bit later, hanging out in the bottom. You might catch him after daylight coming up here when the thermals are switching and coming up. These old bucks get old for a reason. You got to think about all this. Think like an elk hunter. All those western guys, they know about the thermals. If you're hunting hill country, you need to know about those thermals. So I followed the tip right down. The two bedding spots that I found were on this side of the hill, and another one on this side. So either way, if they're coming down the hill, they're going to pinch up right down here. So the tip, bottom part of the hill. This is where I've hunted the last few years. For 2 or 3 years, I was over on this side. I wouldn't see much, but I'd hear a lot of deer that would bust me over here. The wind gets swirling around down in this bottom. But what I found is coming around this point, kind of blows right around, back around the other side. So my stand's right on this edge here. Catching deer coming up out of this bottom. Catching these same deer coming from this way. Then the same ones coming down these points, all converge in this one area. You can see here, it's a nice big scraper at the bottom of this hill. The size of a car hood. It's pretty big. Good overhanging branch. Another scrape here. Tore this little tree up pretty good. I got a few real nice bucks on camera. My trail camera. They were coming right out of here. and they skirt right down the bottom, right around the edge here, so they're not having to go up over the hill. And anything that comes around that bottom side, I could shoot on that side from my stand. I had a real nice mature buck late October that came through there. So I think I'm in the right spot after scouting this whole area out. I still really like where I'm at, so that's a good thing. Found another deadhead, unfortunately. I'm finding way too many of these. I really hope these aren't hunters. I wounded a couple deer in my day, but I think we really got to start trying harder. Oh, it's a gorgeous buck. We really got to try harder to make clean, ethical shots. Ooh, it's a big buck. Oh, it's so unfortunate. Ready? Check this thing out. Wow. Another gorgeous buck. Sorry, going up a big hill. What did we learn today? Came in from a different direction from where I normally hunt. About 1.5 miles the other way. Found old clear cuts. Not much food in those clear cuts. Walked all the way past my stand from where I've been sitting the last few years. On the other side of me is a newer clear cut. I haven't walked over there. Seems like a lot of the bucks, a lot of the deer I'm seeing from that stand are coming from that clear cut. Just funneling them right down. Anything coming from the opposite direction where I came from to start too. Oh, sorry. Anyway. Anything coming from the top of the hill is coming right down pretty much to where my stand is. And that newer clear cut's on the other side of that. The wind is pretty much coming around the hill, blowing to the west side of the clear cut. Got a lot of nice bucks on trail camera. End of October down through there. Had an encounter with a probably 130 inch 8-point. Only got him on video real quick. Not the best footage, but I think I'm right where I want to be. So if nothing else, I confirmed that where I am right now is where I need to hang out for a little while. Found a nice big scrape, probably 25 yards behind my stand. A couple good rubs, and found some beds. And I think both those beds that I found on both sides of the hill, as long as they're coming down the hill back out this way towards the food, towards that clear cut, they'll be walking right by me. So now I'm trying to figure out whether I should be accessing from this other way. It's a haul back in here either way, but depending on which way the wind's blowing, I actually walk right by that clear cut on my way in normally. So I wonder how many deer I'm spooking coming in that way. Might be better off coming in this other way. But another good walk. Learned a lot again. Just gotta keep doing it. Map scouting helps. Putting boots on the ground, that's where it's at. Get out there, guys. It's Easter Sunday. Have fun with your family. I'm stuck down at work, so I gotta have some fun. Alright, catch you later.